Hello and thank you for joining me. So as you guys can see, I have 5 custom knives. Now 4 of these knives are going to be delivered to some friends of mine at Blade Show West. So I will do my best to try to get footage of that. Now I didn't do full customization videos on this just because of time constraint, and I wanted them to be ready for Blade Show West. So what I'm going to do is just talk about these in this video. Now the first one, I did a full customization video on this previously. If you guys haven't seen that video, I'll leave a link up in the corner. You can check it out. But this is going to be gifted to the representative at Current Composits. She was kind enough to let me try out some of their scale material, which I gotta say so far I really love this. It is linen micarta with a thin layer of G10, and they do have different colors. But this is the custom Odium I will be gifting to her, and just did some rock pattern texture on the liners, the pocket clip, and the spine of the blade. But just a great knife. Love the Odium from Civivi, and really pleased with it. But that's who that's going to. Now the next one is the Cold Steel AD10, one of my favorite cold steels. I think it's one of the best in the lineup, but that's just me. Now Voodoo Resin let me take a few of their samples, or a few of their scale materials, and this is the one I decided to use for the Cold Steel AD10. Now I tried something for the first time on this knife, and that was polishing this resin. And I gotta say, I'm not the greatest at polishing, as you guys can see. I probably should have went up in grit, maybe 1500, to get rid of those scratches, but I'll see what I can do before I leave on my trip, and more about that in just a moment. But this will be given to them as a gift, as a thank you for letting me try out the material. And again, if you guys are interested in any of this material, I'll leave a link down below where you can pick some up. But I'm calling this the Venom, just because it reminds me of Venom with the purple and the black. But I'm going to try to get it in the light. You can see there's some pearlescent in there, and it really shifts in the light. The camera's really not doing it justice, but just really pretty stuff. And I gotta say, their stuff is awesome. I really don't like resin. It doesn't cooperate with me. But this one, other than the polishing part, it was actually really fun to use, and I didn't fight it. So it handled heat well. The satin finish turned out really well, and the polishing came out not the greatest, but I definitely need to work on my polishing skills. However, as you guys can see, another thing that I really liked about the polish section is you get that texture. So you can feel those grooves, and it definitely gives that Venom vibe. So again, you can feel that texture. It's really cool, really interesting stuff, and it's really pretty. I have a gold and black version too, which I'll be using on probably another cold steel. I don't know exactly what I'll be using it for, but this is what I used for the scales. I put a rock pattern texture on the triad lock, the spine of the knife, and I did something new I'm trying, the tapered rock pattern finish. So you guys can see it tapers back to just the regular spine finish. But I think it looks really good, and I think it's more tastefully done. And then I gave the blade a two-tone finish. So you can see right there, etched and stone-washed, and then I gave a satin finish on the flats, but more of a rough satin finish. And then I stone-washed the whole thing, gave it a sharpening choil and a fresh aggressive cutting edge. But I just thought it looked really cool, and it complements Venom's white spider logo and the eyes. So that's why I kept everything as satin finish too. And then I went ahead and brought this same finish onto the pocket clip. As you can see there on the flat section of the pocket clip, I gave a satin finish, and then I left the other sections etched and stone-washed just to kind of flow, and then gave a satin and stone-wash finish on the aluminum liners. But love this knife, super smooth, and just really solid since it does have the triad lock. But just love this knife. And if you guys are looking for a great cold steel, this is the AD10 is one that I highly recommend. Even without the custom scales, I think it's perfect. But that is the custom cold steel AD10. Now this one, like I mentioned earlier, I am going on a trip before Blade Show West. So every year I like to go about 2-3 weeks fly fishing up in the mountains on the northwest side of America, just because it's beautiful over there. But I'm going to be taking this knife with me, and I left the scales really blocky. I didn't really do much. I gave some beveled sections here in the front for that pinch grip, and beveled the edges so it's more comfortable, and so that it can slip into the leather case or the sheath. But I left them blocky because since I will be camping out, what I'm going to do is customize these scales with my fixed blade with Takom knives. This will be coming out hopefully very soon, but I'm going to put it through its tests and see if I can whittle and customize these scales with another knife. So that is why I left these really blocky, so that I can customize in a primitive fashion. So I want to see what I can do with just another knife, and see if I can do some cool texture, maybe a design on these scales. Something just to have fun with and stay busy up there when I'm not fly fishing on the lake. But that's what I'll be doing with this one. I forgot the name of this knife. I'll put it up on screen, but I will be using it for food prep. That's the main reason I bought this thing, just because it's got so much blade to handle ratio. Even though the handle's short, it's really comfortable, and I think it's going to be perfect for food prep. So that's what I'll be doing with that one. Now this one is going to, I don't want to name him, but it's going to go to a friend of mine at the Blade Show shows. So I hope he enjoys it. Again, I'll try to get footage of me delivering this to him. But I used some of the realized Woodz Curly Maple Stabilized blue with blue and purple colors or dyes. And you can see that chatoyancy if I can get it on camera. It's always difficult to get that really cool effect. But really, really love this material. And as you can see, that rock pattern texture, I continued it not only from the spine of the knife, but onto the beveled edges of the scales. And just again to complement it and to give it some more grip and make it feel better in hand. But I did the same thing with this one. I etched stone washed the blade and then gave it that two-tone finish with the satin stone wash finish. And it kind of looks like it's going 100 miles an hour with that finish. And I think it looks really cool. I could have gotten rid of all the dark or the etched sections, but I really like that finish of it looking not 100% complete, if that makes any sense. But really happy with how this turned out. Gave it a fresh cutting edge, aggressive cutting edge, and then tapered the spine in some sections with that rock pattern texture. And then I did this after the etch so that it pops and shines more. I did it here on the middle section of the spine and then on the bottom as well. So really, really love this karambit. This is the Nico from Kansept Knives. Great knife. It is in D2, but I don't have a problem with it. I think D2 is a great steel, especially if it's heat treated right. And Kansept is a trustworthy company, so haven't had any issues. This sharpened beautifully, and I think it's going to do great. But that is the custom Nico. Now the last one here, this thing is from Hoffner Knives. It's called the Beast for obvious reasons, but very, very large knife. Just a chunk of steel. I mean, just a big old slab of steel. So really, really love this knife. I've talked with Mr. Hoffner. He's a retired policeman, and he created this thing to just go through anything, basically. So it is a beast for a reason, and it serves that purpose. And I really wanted to customize one for him, and he was kind enough to let me take this home from Blade Show Atlanta. Yeah, and customize it for him. So really excited to see what he thinks of it. But what I did was I took this Layer G10. I forgot the name of it, but I got it at Maker Material Supply. Again, I'll leave a link down below where you can pick this up. But a really cool material. Love the colors. I knew I was going to etch and stone wash the blade, so it was going to be darker. So I decided to put the yellow against the steel, so that way it pops a lot more. And I gave the back section a rock pattern texture because I knew it was going to look awesome when I put the rock pattern texture throughout the layers. You can see just really cool effect. And I left the front smooth, but for the sheathed purpose, in order for it to function properly, I needed to keep it flat. That way it actually holds the blade in, it's got good retention. So that's the reasoning behind it. Instead of just leaving the front flat or giving it flat beveled sections, I put a small rock pattern texture around it. So I just wanted to continue that look, and the sheath works beautifully, and yeah, just feels really good in hand. And this thing literally is a beast. And of course I had to continue that rock pattern texture on the spine all the way around the knife because I think the beast needs to be aggressive, mean looking, very used and abused. So that is why I etched and stone washed it. And the jimping here is very aggressive. So overall, just a really aggressive knife. I also gave the back end a kind of a sharp point, so a skull breaker if you will. But I also continued the rock pattern texture on that. Originally it was just round and flat, but I had to get creative, and that's what I decided to do. Now I did something I'm trying to do with more fixed blades, is a hidden lanyard section where you can still put the lanyard through the lanyard hole. So underneath the scales is a lanyard hole, and you have access through it through these slots. So it's really cool, and I hope Mr. Hoffner enjoys it because it's hidden. It keeps the scales a lot cleaner. You get more of that cool pattern, and it's still useful. So really excited to deliver this one. Also I did do satin finish on the flats. Again, leaving it a rough satin finish with still some of the etch on it. I stone washed the whole thing, and I gave it a sharpening choil. One thing I didn't do is sharpen the blade because my sharpening Lansky system does not open wide enough to hold this in place. So what I plan on doing is taking this to Blade Show West and getting it sharpened before I deliver it to him. So that's the beauty of blade shows. There is a guy that's just sharpening knives, so I'm going to have him sharpen this for him. And yeah, this thing's going to be ready to go. But I love this thing. I need to pick one up. And if you guys are interested in a knife that can handle anything, basically, definitely check out the Beast from Hoffner Knives. But there are all the custom knives. I hope you enjoyed this video, and please let me know down below what you guys think of these custom knives. As always, I really appreciate the support. Thank you for watching, and I will see you guys on the next one.